Greetings from Victoria. My name is Garnet Schulhauser, and I'm the author of 5 books in the spiritual genre: Dancing on a Stamp, Dancing Forever with Spirit, Dance of Heavenly Bliss, Dance of Eternal Rapture, and the 5th one is Dancing with Angels in Heaven. All of my books deal with my dialogue and astral trips with my spirit guide, Albert. More information about these books can be found on my website, which is garnetschulhauser.com. You can also buy all of my books by going to my website, clicking on the buy links located on my homepage. I am also a Level 2 Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique Practitioner, or QHHT, which is a hypnosis modality developed by Dolores Cannon, who is the founder of my publishing company, Ozark Mountain Publishing. In a QHHT session, clients are induced into a deep hypnotic trance known as the theta level, and they will then visit one or more past, present, parallel, or future lives that has some information for them that might be relevant to their current lives. Following this, contact is made with the client's higher self, where I will ask the higher self the questions the client has brought with them to the session. Before we get into the topic of today, which is to discuss a past life regression one of my clients had to a past life where he was a caveman, I'd like to relay a couple of hopefully funny stories about cavemen. So in one story, there's a semi-blind caveman who's wandering through the forest, and he comes upon some beautiful flowers. And on the blooms are sitting what appear to him to be two honeybees. But he's not so sure about what he's seeing, so he turns to his caveman friend and says, "To be or not to be?" Anyway, speaking of caveman, a while back my wife decided to put us on a caveman diet. She said we could only eat what we could gather or catch. Well, I went on this diet for a while, but it became very tiring until I finally discovered after about 6 months that I could, in fact, catch a pizza man. And now to talk about a very fascinating QHHT session I had with a client where he was regressed to a past life, apparently, as a caveman. When he came off the cloud, he found himself standing outside the entrance of a large cave, overlooking a vast savanna with lots of clumps of trees. Behind him in the cave lived a few dozen people. Some of these people that lived in the cave were families with children, and others were young single men and women. My client found himself bare-chested, wearing a necklace of animal teeth. Below his waist, he wore a short skirt-like garment made from animal skins and leather moccasins on his feet. He had long black hair and a scraggly beard that covered most of his face. My client said that he was a young man in his late teens or early 20s, and he was unattached. When he moved forward to an important day in this life, he found himself sitting around a large bonfire just outside of the cave. He was sipping fermented berry juice and enjoying the festivities. And soon a group of men began to pound on makeshift drums in a very rhythmic pattern. And then some of the unattached young women, who were bare-chested, began to dance around the bonfire. At first it was in using slow undulating motions, but then as the beat picked up, they began a frenzy of erotic gyrations that were designed to titillate all the men sitting around the campfire. Well, my client was enjoying all of this while he was sipping his fermented berry juice, when suddenly one of the young ladies, who was actually very attractive, stopped in front of him, grabbed him by the hand, and led him off into a dark place in the trees. There, my client got to enjoy the carnal pleasures of the flesh that he had never before experienced. When he next moved to an important day in his life, he found himself standing outside the mouth of the cave with a group of men. These men all carried crude weapons like wooden spears and stone axes, and they were in fact a hunting party about to go out to try to hunt for game. He found himself saying goodbye to his partner and their young son before joining the men on their trek through the savannah. Before this hunting party could find any game to kill, they were startled by a large noise behind them. When they turned around, they saw a very large cat with 7-inch canines charging at them. Some of the men in the party immediately scattered, running for dear life, but a few of them, including my client, stayed behind to try to fend off this beast. Well, they all fought valiantly, but eventually the big cat overcame all of them, and my client was the last man standing. He fought valiantly, trying to stab this beast with his wooden spear, but he was overcome, and he left his body just before the big cat's jaws crunched down on his neck. After he came out of trance, my client said that he now understood why he was fearful around felines, even small house cats, which seems all understandable based upon his death at the hands of a saber-toothed tiger. Well, that's all for now, folks. Enjoy your journey, and remember to keep on dancing.